Hello guys, and welcome back to another tutorial. This tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make the cove lights in a ceiling. Those shadow lights that you see around, some might look hidden and they give the scene a very cool ambience. Can be of different colors: red, green, blue, yellow, anyone you want. I'm going to show you the different styles you can make and also the 3 ways to make it using V-Ray for Sketchup. If you're new to this channel, welcome, and you can hit that subscribe button and notifications to get notified on whenever a new video is coming out. And please, you can really help this channel by liking this video and also sharing so that many people get to see it, and also help me with the algorithm also. So without any further intros, let's get into it. Basically, the first thing you have to do is to model the ceiling, and it's not that difficult. You just basically work in rectangles and the push and pull tool, as you can see here. So simply, I just get my dimensions, I push pull it to a height which I now have very nice extrusions, offset it by certain dimension also, and to add more styling, I also offset the middle to create another cove light in the middle. So I push pull by, let's say, half of that original extension from the start, or the full thing, and then I'll just make lines to get half of it so that I can have my recesses. That's going to help me with the coves. So I simply just push them back by like 200, 150 to get these recesses where I'm going to fix my lights, and they're going to create really nice hidden lights with cool ambience in the space. And that's what we have. So we just have to get a nice view to capture this out so that every light will show. Trying to get the perfect view. This is not working. Let me change this up. This works. I think I'll take it up just to recreate maybe an interior, but in 5 meters height. And yeah, I think I prefer this one. This one is pretty high enough. So this is our ceiling modeled out and ready to fix our lights. Okay, so after modeling, what we have to do now is work with our lights. So I told you there are 3 ways that you can use to make this. I'm going to start with the first way. So that's going to be using the rectangle light. Now, the rectangle light is a light tool that comes with V-Ray, and it's just right here, as the name implies. It's a rectangle, and it's also a light. So a light shaped in a rectangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix this rectangle light in all our recesses over here. So we have a total of 8 recesses. That's 2, 4, 6, 8. So we're going to fix 8 rectangle lights separately into this recess. So I'm going to start off with this one right here. Now this might take a bit of time, so I'm going to speed this up for all the other recesses I have. Okay, I believe that's done. I mean, from the amount of rectangle lights that we have, if we select this, I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we have 8. We have 8 rectangle lights. How you can also know you have 8 rectangle lights: when you come over to your V-Ray asset editor in the light rollout, you have 8 rectangle lights down here, and they all have the same intensity and the same color, as we can see. If we expand this rollout, we have the same intensity, have the same shape, have the same size, and the same directionality. I'm not going to go into full detail with rectangle lights in this video. If you want to see a full video on rectangle lights, let me know down in the comment section. Let me know. Just simply type IK, please make a video on rectangle lights, and I'll be sure to respond to that. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the advantage and disadvantage of using rectangle lights for this. Now, disadvantage is, let's start with the advantage. The advantage is that since they are all individual lights in all individual recesses, you have control on different intensities and different colors. Well, enough talk. Let me just hit the interactive render and show you what I mean. So simply going to change this to interactive, and I'm going to hit this to see what we have. So our sunlight is on, and okay, yes, the light is showing a bit, but the sunlight and the environmental light is not allowing us to see this really clear. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn off the sunlight. That means we're left with the environment light, and we're going to turn this off also. So I'm left with pitch black, and then we're meant to see our recess. Okay, so we can see the rectangle light emitting from all recesses around this light. So I'm going to simply do is I'm going to simply shrink this up a bit. Yeah, so that we can rotate this boy around. Okay, yeah. So as you can see, yeah, this is a perfect view. We can see the lights coming in from all recesses on our space. So like I said, the advantage with the rectangle light is when you have this, you can simply change the intensity of any simple light you have. So if I change this to 80, you can clearly see that maybe this is the brightest one, so that means I'm changing this as my first rectangle. And if I change this color to green, yeah, I was right, this also changed to green. So if I change this to, let's say, 400, yeah, I mean this is the one with 400 because the light, most light is coming in from this way. And I'll change it to my color of the channel, that's deep blue. Yeah, oh, this is sick. Wow. And then we have green, blue, and let's go for a red somewhere. So we simply change this one to like 500, simply identify it, and then this is it. And then you can simply change this to your red that you want. Now you can really have a lot of fun using this kind of rectangle light as your cove lighting, but the downside is that you really have to know which light you're working on. So as you apply, you have to rename, and you have to rename based on what you see here. So if I'm saying this is red and this is in the inner rectangle facing the left on my view, let's see my scene, yes, it's on my left, so I just simply rename this as inner rectangle left. So that's how I'm able to know which light I'm really working on. So if I want to change this inner rectangle left, which I can see here, I'll just simply come over to my red light and maybe change this to a blue, maybe a purple, sky blue, green again, yellow. You know, you can really have a lot of fun with this. I used this one time for I don't think I've used rectangle lights for this, but I'm going to show you my other type of the other ways you can use to make this. I'm going to show you also the fastest way that I use. So let's go on to number 2. Okay, number 2, which is the mesh light. And the mesh light is also another light that comes in with V-Ray, but this one works with groups only. So it's simply adding a light to an entity in your project. So for example, we have this group here. So the mesh light rollout comes up. If we have no group selected, we cannot access it. You can see. So it only works when you have a group and you convert that selected group or components into a mesh light object. So that means if we have this in the group and we have to apply these mesh lights to each individual face of our cove lights and each individual face of the recess. But here is where the speed comes in. So I'm simply going to do, I'm going to make every face a group here. I'm going to speed this up for you guys. Okay, I believe that's 8 done. Yeah, that's 8 done. I believe that's 8 done. Yeah. So if I simply select, I'll simply know there are groups when I see this. So let me deselect everything. So that means now we have this main group here, and then when we go into our main group, normally if we select just a normal face, we won't be able to use the mesh light. But now that we have a group, we can convert it to a mesh light. So as we're going to do, I'm going to convert this to a mesh light, and what you're going to see is something like this. This is V-Ray's way of identifying when a mesh light has been placed in your scene. And when you go to your asset editor and you go under lights, you can see it as mesh light as well. So the really cool thing about this is when you have one mesh light in your scene, unlike the rectangle light, you can simply select as many groups as you want with this. You can simply select as many groups as you want. So I'm going to select this, select this. I'm going to select this also. I really should be counting this because there are a lot of recesses, and this is not even a major project. And yeah, and yeah, this. Okay, so simply go to my asset editor, select the mesh light, right click and apply to selection. So what this does is that on every group instance that you clicked on, is going to simply add that mesh light to it. So remember when we had the mesh light here, it has simply added to every group instance of that we have. So simply go over here, and then I'm going to do a quick interactive render on this. Okay, so I turned on back our sunlight and everything, so we can see the intensity difference between the sunlight and the environmental light and that of the mesh light also. So what I'm going to do now is turn off my sunlight and also turn off my background also, so we can see this. So you can see the results are quite similar with that. We have the rectangle lights. They all work the same way, just different ways to do one thing, which is pretty great using V-Ray. I'm going to change the aspect ratio of this render because it's getting pretty too wide, and I'll change this 1:1. Beautiful. So now we don't need to actually zoom out that much. We just drop this by the side and then we zoom in, and then we can see what's going on here. So like I said, since you have the same instance of mesh light in all recesses, so I'm simply going to change the intensity of this one, and it's going to work for all of them. So I change this to 100 and the intensity increases. I can change the color to a green, and color to a green. Okay, let's use this rollout instead. That's weird. Change this to black. It works as black, so why won't you let me change you to green? Okay, yeah, it's working now. Okay, so I can change this to red, I can change this to green, I can change this to blue. Let's go with a lighter shade so that it will be brighter in a way. Okay, so you can really have fun with this one also. And again, it works the same way with the rectangle light, as applying it to different spaces. So if I duplicate this mesh light and I make this blue, it won't show in here because I don't have any instance of this. So I'll simply name this blue mesh light to give it a difference, and then I can come over. Let me lock this on the screen. Come over to this first group here, and then I can erase them. Oh, that's bad. I can come in here and then select just the mesh lights, and then I can erase the mesh lights applied to it. So you can see now we have a dark zone, we have no light here. So I can simply just select this group, come over here, and then apply this blue mesh light to that spot. I think we have to restart the render because V-Ray has a problem with updating most times. So I think we are going to restart this. Okay. Oh no, I'll just simply turn this off and then restart this render quickly. Yep. So we can see that we have our blue mesh light bleeding out from that first instance. So just like how we could have that party scene with the rectangle light, you can also do that as well by simply duplicating, changing your color, changing your intensity, removing the previous mesh light added to that entity, and then replacing it with the new mesh lights that you have, like we did with this blue one. So this is really the fastest, and to me is the best way, because you can simply just apply by clicking, and instead of dropping each rectangle light, so you won't have that much of a scattered light roller. You just have simply the colors that you need, and then you can go on with that. If you have any questions about this, let me know down in the comments also. So we simply move on to the third and final way of doing the cove lights in V-Ray for Sketchup. Okay, now we're in our third and final way of making the cove lights in V-Ray for Sketchup, and that way is by using an emissive material. Okay, so now the emissive material, unlike the previous ones, is not available in our V-Ray light rollout, but it's also a V-Ray tool. So we simply have to make an emissive material. This is simply like the name suggests, a material that emits light. So if we click out this rollout here on the left and we go to our create part, we can simply see we have a lot of options, and guess we passed emissive. Yes, this is it. So simply right click this and then we add this to our scene. So what we now have is an emissive material. As you can see, this material here emits light. It has in color rollout, intensity rollout, transparency, compensate EV. If you want to, I'm not going to go into full detail. If you want to know more about this emissive light, let me know down in the comment section. I can make a tutorial on emissive lights. Okay, so you see we have the color rollout, just like how we had that of the mesh light and the rectangle light, and we also have intensity. But now how this works is a little bit different, and maybe you need to be on interactive render a lot. You can't just really put 50 and expect 50 to be greater than 30 like the previous ones. So what I'm going to do is to increase this to, let's say, 10, and then we'll leave our color as white. Or let's start with something funky this time. Let's start with red, deep orange. Yeah, so you can see this orange is pretty different from what we have as this, but if we increase this intensity to 50, I think the orange tends to bleed out more, but I'm simply going to leave this as 10. Okay, so now what we're going to do is pretty easy, just basic applying of materials. We have our emissive light color here. This is because we've selected it out here in the asset editor. Don't let this dismay you. Let me just change this to glass and mirror so you can know that we're actually selected here, not a color. So simply click this and then apply it to everything. I need to apply it to just my groups. So I'm going to group, click this on all 8 faces. Click this. Now it doesn't need to be applied to a group. Since it's a material, I can apply to a face also. So if you didn't group your faces, that's fine. Just make sure that you apply it to the selected faces that you want only. But if I apply this to this point or this face, you can already see that it's going to really emit a lot of light per the square area. I think I've gotten all 8 species. Yeah, that was pretty quick. Okay, so like again, I'm going to hit my interactive render, make sure that I'm set up real nice here. Okay, let me increase this a bit so I'm going to get more detail, and then hit the interactive render. We have a bigger square this time, and then spread the frame. Okay, so you can see our light. Now this one is actually quite better because it bleeds more irrespective of the sunlight or the environmental light, but simply I'm also going to turn those ones off. So I'm going to my environment, going to turn this off. So I have a pitch black render, and then our sunlight is casting light here, which is pretty disgusting, and I'm going to turn this off also. So what I have is this. Now you can see how this works, and it bleeds pretty nicely, but the problem is it has little or no setting for direction. We need the rectangle light, the arrow pointed this way, so the light was bouncing out this way. I'm not going to do a comparison picture because this is just a tutorial. And then light was bouncing out this way, and then we have this also, but this one tends to bleed out a lot more. But this is for if maybe you have a lot of instances of a light and then you just apply this there. Remember, we changed this to 10, so now let's change this back to the 1 that it was, and maybe that will kind of reduce the bleeding effect it had. But this is kind of a harsh color, so I'm going to change this back to white so you can see what we have in here. And yeah, I think we've lit this up with the emissive rollout. So disadvantages and advantages. The advantage of this is that you can apply this to anywhere, groups, components. It's, well, to me, mesh light is the fastest, but depending on how fast your fingers are, you can apply this as quickly as you want. For example, I think I'm still on my emissive light. I can apply this to this whole group, and then you can see the whole group becomes an emissive material, and I'll just simply undo that. Maybe I want to apply it to just this face down here, and then apply this here, and then we have this as the emissive light. I'll change the color so that you guys can really see what I am doing. So I'll change this to a light green. Okay, really sweet green. And then you can see how we have this emissive light everywhere. So I can also change this on this face, and then we have that as well. I can change it on this face, and then we have this as well. So the cool thing with this is you can also use the mesh light on certain faces like this, but the thing is that you have to make it a group, unlike the emissive where you can just apply it. So maybe if you have like a space themed kind of I don't know what kind of concept that you have. I really like to see what you come up with this, but just something that maybe you need to apply light in certain forms and certain shapes that maybe you can't really make groups out of. Emissive light will totally come through in that section. So you can see we can apply this to the top here, and then apply this here. This is really a lot of fun actually. So let's see what we can actually come out with this. Okay, nice. Okay, this is looking cool. We have some kind of I don't know what to call this. Let me know what you guys think this looks like. Oh no, it's giving me Star Wars vibes, bro. No, I don't know what to call this though. Well, that's simply it with the emissive lights. I wish I timed this. I should have timed this to know which one was faster, but again, that depends on how you work, and for teaching purposes I can't really do speed so that everybody's going to get the best out of this video. So that was the 3, the rectangle, the emissive, and the mesh light. I really hope you guys learned a lot from this video. The 3 ways to make this cove light. I really like to see what you do with this. So if you do any artwork in particular, you can simply upload it to your social media if you're on Instagram or Facebook and tag me. By the way, my Instagram is @IKING. The link is in the description, or this is it right here on the screen. You can simply check me out, follow me, message me, let me know what you want to learn, let me know what you've done so far, so I know that okay, yes, my tutorials are actually working and stuff. So I hope you guys will like this video also for the algorithms and more people get to see it. And also, if you're new, please help me subscribe to this channel. Once you subscribe, you know you have unlimited access to my videos. Hit the notification button to also know when I drop a new video, and also follow me on social media. Tell your friends about this channel so that they can continue learning more, and I'll see you guys in the next video.